Our servers OC have partnered with Dino Deluxe to create Deluxe servers. Deluxe servers is just like OC, but with better server handling and an official grind. Deluxe offers 3x harvest, lag-free servers, an in-game shop, no pay to win, 5x breeding, new player protection, 3x experience, and more. And come join Deluxe today and get up to 1 week of new player protection. And coming at number 10, we have finding shelter and where to live. Finding shelter can be hard if you're new on ARK. Luckily, you have this amazing video. Depending on the rates you're on, this can vary, but if you're on official, thatch or wood is the best way to start. You have to unlock them in your engram list to craft them. There are foundations, walls, some door frames, and ceilings that you can craft. Don't go all the way out on your first base either, as you're probably gonna end up moving. The best spots to live are anywhere near metal sources and a main water source. Resources are going to be needed early on and late game, depending if you're on a PvE or a PvP server. You do not want to build out in the open. On PvE, this won't matter really as much because you don't have to worry about somebody finding your base and destroying it. You have 11 different maps to choose from for which map you want to live on. Each map has its own unique features. I recommend the center or the island for getting started, as these are the easiest maps to venture. Only later, once you learn the basics, you should venture to other maps. Maps like Aberration and Genesis 2 are huge game changers, but add an entirely new style to the game. And coming at number 9, we have taming your first dino. The taming of your first dino can be hard since there are 474 different types of dinos to choose from at this point in time. But don't let that stress you out. There are plenty of easy dinos for you to tame at the start. You have the basic dinos like a parasaur and a raptor that are super easy to get. For both of these, you will need a bola and a club. Taming these is super easy too. The parasaur will give you easy berries, and the raptor can give you meat very easily from killing small dinos. My top 5 favorite dinos for a starter would be a raptor, the RG, which is a portable smithy, a pterodon, which is great for travel, a trike, which is an amazing berry farmer, and an iguanodon, which is another great berry farmer. These 5 dinos are my go-to for anything starting off. Now you may be asking, how do I tame these dinos? Let's say you don't know how to knock a certain dino out. Just go to dododex.com, where they have all the facts on every dino in the game, including how to knock them out and how much kibble that they're going to need. This is not sponsored, by the way, it's just such an amazing source for ARK players. Anyways, the traps are great things to build so you can catch these dinos, so they don't run to areas where you don't want them to. The traps can look something like this. A simple 2x2 stone with door frames is really all you need to keep a dino from escaping. There are traps for every dino, so be sure to look some traps up if you need some help. And coming at number 8, we have exploring. Exploring is a major thing you must do in ARK. ARK has some of the coolest hidden areas that you may not know about. And each map has its own unique hidden features waiting to be explored by you. From castles to ruins of ancient life, every corner has something new waiting for you to find. The caves play a huge role in this too. Each map has at least 10 main caves. These caves can be massive and have tons of life in them, and some could even lead you to different dimensions. One way to find new spots you haven't explored yet is to press M on PC to pull up your map. This will show you spots you haven't explored yet. The areas that have nothing on them mean you haven't explored these areas yet either. ARK has 11 maps to explore from. I'd start on the island as it's one of the calmest maps for exploring. You'll find some cool spots like the Oasis, which is an old favorite of mine. Then you could move on to maps like the Center, which has another favorite of mine, which is Spider Cave. That's not it either, as each map has tons of stuff to do, from parkour caves to doing missions on Genesis 1 and 2. I'll just say, switching from the island to a Genesis map will be so different that you'll be so confused on what to do, so be careful when venturing to those maps. Exploration is never ending in ARK, so you get to choose what your journey is. And coming at number 7, we have crafting items. Crafting items is a key to expansion on ARK. If you don't craft, you simply won't get bigger. There's tons of stuff to craft in your engrams, you just need to unlock them. Engrams play a big role in doing anything. So you'll have simple ones like a stone pick and hatchet, which you should already know by now if you haven't started, and you can upgrade these by making a metal pick and a hatchet, which can be crafted in a smithy. The smithy will become your best friend when playing ARK. You can craft hundreds of items in here. Now let's say you want to start getting stuff done. Making flak is very important even if it's the basic flak. Flak will not only give you armor, but will allow for you to survive a lot more hits from enemies or dinos. This armor is easy and cheap to make, so if it gets destroyed, you simply make more. Now let's move on to weapons. Weapons are very important, such as a pike or a sword, and even though they are primitive, they can really help you in a bad scenario. Take a look through your engrams and choose wisely because you only get a small amount of engrams, so you cannot unlock everything. Coming at number 6, we have finding loot. Finding loot is going to be one of the biggest game changers for you. You can find loot everywhere. This includes very good weapons and blueprints for just about everything. You have the basic way that everyone knows, which is looting loot crates. These actually don't give you good loot at all the majority of the time. The best ways to get good loot are from underwater drops and cave drops. There are so many different ways to farm VPs and great weapons, but these ways will guarantee you something amazing every single time. Underwater drops can be found on a lot of maps, and most of their locations are on ARK wiki pages. However, farming drops this way requires to get a Tuso and to fight Moses and other terrifying creatures, so let's talk about an easier way to get some VPs. You have caves. A lot of caves above land have loot in them. Now they won't have amazing loot like underwater drops would, however you can still get a lot of loot from these. Caves like Ice Queen and Lava Golem are much easier for getting drops, and you don't even have to go into the main fight to get some loot. There are loot crates outside in these caves that just sit there for you. If you want more info on how to farm these loot crates, go check out my top 5 ways to farm BPs video. This will teach you everything on looting and BPs. And coming at number 5, we have making a farm. Farming is a great and easy way to get lots of food and be able to make kibble and recipes. Farming is important on PvE and PvP servers. Farming can be useful for making med brews, veggie cakes, shadow steaks, and much more. These items are super helpful for PvP, as items like the shadow stick allow for you to see better at night. It's important to do farming the right way. Make sure to build a greenhouse over top of your foundations, or your farm will work a lot slower than it should. Make sure to use large crop plots for the most effectiveness in growth. You will need crops like the Seva root and rot carrots. These crops can be found on Ragnarok and the Highlands. The crops like long grass and citronal can be found in seeds and random berry harvests. If you want to find seeds easier, tame a Pegomastax and they will farm seeds for you. Now you will need to get your farm operational. First, tame a dung beetle or 2, which can be found in most caves. These guys will make fertilizer for you. Just simply fill them up with poop, especially dino poop, and they will turn it into fertilizer over time. Now you have a farm. It's a lot easier than it looks for starting off. And coming at number 4, we have engrams. Engrams play a big role in ARK. The first engrams you should spawn with are a stone pick and a torch. The best first engrams to unlock are the spear, hatchet, and a campfire for level 2. Level 3 you should unlock the cloth armor, and level 4 and 5 you should unlock thatched structures, a sleeping bag, and a storage box. These are all very important engrams to unlock. Levels 5 through 10 you should unlock spark powder, a mortar and pestle, narcotics, spyglass, simple bed, club, cooking pot, a bola, stone arrow, and a bow. These are all just important. Levels 11 through 20 you should unlock wooden structures, cementing paste, gunpowder, hide armor, large wooden box, preserving bin, metal pick, hatchet, smithy, and the refining forge. These are all the most important engrams to unlock when starting. The rest are really up to you, but make sure to unlock the fabricator, chem edge, and any forge, as these are amazing later game items that will help you progress very fast. The tech engrams require a boss to be killed. You can look up which bosses to fight for what engrams. The engrams that are locked in the main area will tell you what maps to travel to unlock them. And coming at number 3, we have expanding your base. Expanding your base is another great factor needed for surviving on ARK. If you're starting out, you'll probably be starting at thatch or wood structures. While these may seem decent for starting, you will need to build better and bigger. Begin upgrading to stone. Stone is a perfect middle ground that will allow you to survive on PvE and PvE servers at start. Now expanding just doesn't mean to upgrade your walls and foundations, it means you'll need to start making defenses like spikes and gates to keep enemies and dinos out. If you're on PvP, make sure to expand to metal as soon as possible and start to make turrets. Placing turrets down shows others that you are a threat, and if you build up big enough, players won't mess with you as easily as they would with stone structures and no defenses. Only should you expand to tech once you've done boss fights and are ready to go that route, but tech is a route you can wait on for a good amount of time. Coming at number 2, we have breeding. Breeding dinos is a very confusing task to do, especially if you want to get mutations. Now we won't be teaching you the mutation route, as that would be an entire video on its own, but breeding simply requires a male and female dino to be near each other, and you must enable breeding. Now it's not just that easy. You will need to wait for an egg to pop out or for them to spawn. For eggs, you will need a heat source, so get tons of campfires and it will work just as a fire, or you can use an air conditioner. Once the baby is hatched, you will need to take care of them up until they are a juvenile. This is until 10%. Find their food source and sit with them until they reach that stage or they will start to die. After they hit that stage, make sure to place down a feeding trough, as this will allow them to basically feed the dinos as they raise. The dinos like a wyvern require less care and just need to be fed every few hours depending on rates. Usually for dinos, a high level male or female and a low level opposite works great, as you will only need the stat from one side. Breeding is a more confusing thing to do, but can be learned fairly quickly. And coming at number 1, we have farming. Now this is a different kind of farming. This farming is for resources. Once you've become a good size and you've learned a lot about the game, it's really time to start farming heavily. There are items like a chainsaw which are great for farming wood. The dinos like an Anki work amazing too. Ankis are used for farming metal in mass amounts. The higher level dino you tame for an Anki, the more it will get. The dinos like a Doedicurus is great for farming large amounts of stone. A great early on meat farmer would be a Rex. They can farm tons of meat to fill your feeding troughs. These 3 resources are your main ones that you will need to get a long way as you progress. There are tons of other dinos great for farming, but that's for you to explore. While ARK may seem like a very difficult game, it has been the most fun I've ever had with any game I've ever played. Hopefully this video has helped you in some way, and we hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.